I remember those days like they were yesterday. Mom, Dad, and me, Megan, the perfect little family. We weren't rich or famous, just ordinary folks living our best life. Dad worked as an accountant, always buried in numbers, but he'd light up when he got home. Mom was a teacher, spreading knowledge and kindness wherever she went. We'd spend weekends exploring the country, piling into our beat-up station wagon and hitting the road. Dad would blast his favorite oldies, and Mom would sing along, terribly off-key but not caring one bit. I'd sit in the back, rolling my eyes but secretly loving every minute of it. Those road trips were the best. We'd stop at dingy diners, ordering greasy burgers and sharing a giant milkshake. Mom would always steal my fries, claiming, "I'm just testing them for poison, sweetie." When we weren't traveling, we'd hit up the local mall. I'd drag them from store to store, trying on ridiculous outfits and begging for the latest toys. Mom was the voice of reason, but Dad was a softie. He'd slip me a few extra bucks when Mom wasn't looking, whispering, "Our little secret, Meggie." Friday nights were pizza nights. We'd order in, sprawl out on the living room floor, and watch cheesy movies. Dad would try to explain the plots, Mom would shush him, and I'd stuff my face with pepperoni, not caring about anything but the moment. I was 11 when Mom started feeling tired all the time. At first, we didn't think much of it. Teaching is exhausting after all. But then came the doctor visits, the worried whispers, the hushed phone calls. I didn't understand what was happening. Nobody told me anything, but I could feel the change in the air. The laughter became less frequent, the road trips stopped, and pizza nights were replaced with quiet, tense dinners. One night, I overheard Dad on the phone, his voice cracking as he spoke. "The treatments aren't working, Mike. I don't know what we're going to do." That's when I knew. Something was very wrong with Mom, and our perfect little world was about to shatter. I wish I could go back to those happy days, freeze time, and stay in that bubble of blissful ignorance forever. But life doesn't work that way. The storm was coming, and there was nothing I could do to stop it. For now, I close my eyes and try to remember the good times. The smell of Mom's perfume, the sound of Dad's laughter, the taste of Friday night pizza. Those memories are all I have left of the life I once knew, the life I desperately wish I could return to. It happened on a Tuesday. I remember because it was pizza night, but there was no pizza, no laughter, no Mom. Just silence and the horrible beeping of hospital machines. "Megan, sweetie," Dad said, his voice cracking. "Mom, she's gone." Just like that, my world collapsed. Mom, my rock, my best friend, was gone. I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. I just stood there, numb, as Dad hugged me, his tears soaking my hair. The next few weeks were a blur of black clothes, hushed voices, and casseroles I couldn't bring myself to eat. I kept expecting Mom to walk through the door, to tell me it was all a bad dream. But she never did. Then, about 6 months after we lost Mom, something changed. Dad started going out more. I thought he was getting better, until I saw her. She was tall, blonde, and nothing like Mom. Her name was Karen, and she had a smile that didn't quite reach her eyes. "Megan, this is Karen," Dad said, looking nervous. "We've been seeing each other." I couldn't believe it. Mom wasn't even cold in her grave, and he was already replacing her. Karen bent down, her face inches from mine. "Hi, Megan. I've heard so much about you." When Dad wasn't looking, Karen's smile dropped. Her eyes turned cold, calculating. In that moment I knew. This woman was trouble. Over the next few weeks, Karen was everywhere. She'd come over for dinner, watch TV with us, even try to help me with homework. But the moment Dad's back was turned, the mask would slip. "Listen, kid," she hissed one day when we were alone. "I'm here to stay. Don't get any ideas about messing this up for me." I tried to tell Dad, I really did, but he just shook his head. "Megan, I know this is hard for you, but Karen's a good person. You're just jealous. Maybe we should get you to talk to someone." Jealous? I couldn't believe it. My own father thought I was making this up. Before I knew it, I was sitting in a therapist's office, being told I had adjustment issues and difficulty with change. Karen had somehow convinced everyone, Dad, our relatives, even the neighbors, that I was troubled. Poor Megan, I'd overhear her saying on the phone, She's having such a hard time. There are mental problems. We're getting her the help she needs. Then came the bombshell. A year and a half after Mom died, Dad dropped the news. Megan, Karen and I, we're getting married. We thought it'd be best if you spent the summer at camp. Give you some time to adjust. But I knew the truth. They were shipping me off so I wouldn't ruin their perfect day with my sour face, as Karen put it. I left for camp with a heavy heart, knowing that when I returned, everything would be different. My home wouldn't be mine anymore. My family was changing, and there was nothing I could do about it. I returned from camp with a knot in my stomach. The house looked the same from the outside, but as soon as I stepped through the door, I knew everything had changed. "Welcome home," Megan, Karen said, her smile not reaching her eyes. "We need to talk about room arrangements. With the baby coming, we'll need to make some changes." My head spun. Baby? What baby? Dad's face lit up. "That's right, you don't know. Karen's pregnant, you're going to be a big sister." Karen led me upstairs, chattering about nursery colors and baby names. We stopped at my room, or what used to be my room. "We've started converting this into the nursery," Karen said, pushing open the door. My heart sank. My posters were gone, replaced by pastel wallpaper. My desk had vanished, a crib standing in its place. "Where's my stuff?" I managed to choke out. Karen waved dismissively. "Oh, we moved you to the guest room. It's cozier anyway." The guest room was barely bigger than a closet. My things were piled haphazardly on the bed, some boxes still sealed. "This is temporary, right?" I asked, looking at Dad. He wouldn't meet my eyes. "Well, Meggie, with the new baby." I got the message. I was being pushed out, replaced. The next few months were a blur of doctor's appointments, baby showers, and me trying to make myself as small as possible. Karen's belly grew, and with it, her control over our lives. Then, one crisp fall morning, my little brother was born. Despite everything, when I held him for the first time, I felt a surge of love. For a moment I thought maybe things would get better. But Karen had other plans. "Careful, Megan," she'd say, snatching him away. "You might drop him. Or he's sleeping now. Maybe you can see him later." There was always an excuse, always a reason why I couldn't spend time with my brother. Dad was too busy with work and the new baby to notice. Years passed. I threw myself into school, counting down the days until I could leave for college. My brother grew into a sweet, curious kid, but Karen made sure our interactions were limited. Finally, my senior year arrived. One night I overheard Karen and Dad arguing. "She needs to learn responsibility," Karen insisted. "A job right out of high school would do her good." Dad's voice was firm. "No, Sarah wanted her to go to college. We set aside money for it. Megan's going." I'd never been so grateful for my dad standing up for me. When my acceptance letter came, I cried with relief. I was getting out. I was going to start my own life, away from Karen's manipulations. On move-in day, Dad helped me pack the car. Karen and my brother stayed home. "I'm proud of you," Meggie, Dad said, hugging me goodbye. "Your mom would be too." As I drove away, watching my childhood home disappear in the rearview mirror, I felt a mix of sadness and hope. I was leaving behind the only home I'd known, and the little brother I never really got to know. But I was also driving towards freedom, towards a future where I could be myself without Karen's shadow looming over me. College was like a breath of fresh air after years of suffocation. I threw myself into my studies, determined to make something of myself. Advertising became my passion, a world where creativity met strategy, and I could finally express myself freely. But even as I reveled in my newfound independence, there was always a nagging ache in my heart. My little brother, barely 6 when I left, was growing up without me. During rare visits home, I'd catch glimpses of the amazing kid he was becoming. "Megan, look what I drew," he'd exclaim, showing me his latest masterpiece. I'd ruffle his hair, cherishing these brief moments. "It's awesome, buddy, you're quite the artist." Karen would inevitably interrupt, whisking him away for some urgent task or another. The distance between us grew with each passing year. Graduation day arrived, a bittersweet triumph. As I stood in my cap and gown scanning the crowd, I realized Dad and Karen weren't there. Later, a terse text arrived: "Congratulations on graduating. Dad, Karen." It stung, but I refused to let it dampen my spirits. I had a future to build. Thanks to my internships and portfolio, I landed a job at a hip advertising agency in the city. Grandma Mom's mom and my guardian angel helped me secure a tiny but cozy apartment. "Your mother would be so proud," she said, pressing a check into my hand. "This is for rent. She always wanted you to have a good start." Life settled into a comfortable rhythm. Work was challenging but rewarding. I made friends, went on dates, and slowly began to heal from the wounds of my past. For 3 years I lived in relative peace, with only occasional, awkward holiday visits to break the calm. Then, out of the blue, my phone rang. Dad's name flashed on the screen. "Megan, it's Dad. I have some news. We've sold the house and bought a new place, bigger, more modern. I was hoping. Well, would you help us move? It might be a good chance for us to reconnect." I was speechless. After years of distance, this sudden olive branch felt surreal. "Karen would be happy to see you too," he added, though I doubted that. "And your brother? Megan, he's 12 now. He asks about you all the time." I closed my eyes, weighing my options. Part of me wanted to refuse, to protect myself from more hurt. But another part, the part that still missed my family, that longed for reconciliation, won out. "Okay," I said finally. "I'll come." Great Dad's relief was palpable. "I'll text you the address. See you this weekend." As I packed a bag for the weekend, my emotions swirled. Hope mingled with anxiety, excitement with dread. Whatever happened, this visit would change everything. I just didn't know if it would be for better or worse. I pulled up to the address, my jaw dropping at the sight. The house was enormous, all sleek lines and modern architecture. It looked nothing like the cozy home I grew up in. Taking a deep breath, I walked to the front door and rang the bell. Dad opened it, a hesitant smile on his face. "Meggie, you made it." "Hi, Dad," I said, stepping inside. Karen appeared behind him, her smile as plastic as ever. "Megan, how nice of you to come," she said, her tone suggesting anything but. I looked around, expecting to see my brother. "Where's—" "Oh, he's staying with my parents for the weekend," Karen cut in smoothly. "We thought it would be easier to move without him underfoot." The look in her eyes told me everything. This was deliberate. She'd made sure my brother wouldn't be here, denying me even this small chance to reconnect with him. Swallowing my disappointment and anger, I forced a smile. "So where do you want me to start?" For the next few hours, I threw myself into the work. I scrubbed floors, arranged furniture, and hung curtains. It was easier than trying to make conversation with Dad or enduring Karen's false pleasantries. As I was sorting through some boxes in what would be the study, I came across a pile of framed photos. My heart stopped as I recognized one particular frame. It was a portrait of Mom, the one that used to hang in my childhood bedroom. Her smile beamed at me from beneath a layer of dust. Clutching the photo, I walked into the living room where Dad and Karen were discussing paint colors. "Dad," I said, my voice shaking slightly, "why is Mom's picture in a pile of junk?" Dad's face fell, a mix of guilt and sadness crossing his features. He opened his mouth to speak, but Karen beat him to it. "Oh, that old thing," she said dismissively. "We decided those photos don't really fit with the new decor. They're a bit superfluous, don't you think?" Superfluous. The word hit me like a slap. My mother's memory, reduced to an outdated decoration. "Superfluous," I repeated, my voice dangerously low. "This is my mother, your wife," I added, looking at Dad. Dad at least had the decency to look ashamed. "Megan, we didn't mean." But I was already moving, gathering up every photo of Mom I could find. I found her old jewelry box, a few of her books. Without a word, I carried them out to my car, ignoring Karen's protests and Dad's weak attempts to explain. As I placed the last item in my trunk, I felt a storm of emotions threatening to overwhelm me. Anger at Karen's callousness, disappointment in Dad's spinelessness, and a deep, aching sadness for the mother I'd lost and the family that seemed beyond repair. I slammed the trunk shut, the sound echoing in the quiet street. For a moment, I considered getting in the car and driving away, leaving this mess behind once and for all. But something stopped me. Maybe it was the memory of Mom, her voice in my head telling me to be strong. Maybe it was the thought of my little brother who I still hadn't seen. Or maybe it was just sheer stubbornness, refusing to let Karen win. Whatever it was, I found myself walking back into the house. Karen was nowhere to be seen, probably hiding to avoid confrontation. Dad stood in the hallway looking lost, so I went back to cleaning, trying not to think about Dad's betrayal. As I was about to leave, Dad caught my arm. "Megan, wait. There's something else." I turned, eyebrow raised. "What now?" He shifted uncomfortably. "We're having a housewarming party in a few days. We would really appreciate your help." Before I could respond, Karen swooped in, her voice dripping with false sweetness. "Oh yes, Megan, we could really use your assistance. Perhaps you could handle the catering? I'll take care of the cleaning, invitations, and overall organization." I opened my mouth to refuse, but Dad jumped in. "Please, Meggie, all our relatives and friends will be there. We can't manage without you." His pleading eyes wore me down. Despite everything, a small part of me still wanted to make him happy. "Fine," I sighed. "I'll help with the food, I'll even pay for it myself." Karen's smile widened. "Wonderful. We're thinking of an Italian theme. You know, to christen the new kitchen." I nodded, an idea forming. "Actually, I know the best Italian restaurant. I'll order from there. Quality guaranteed." Oh, Karen's eyes narrowed slightly. "What's the name of this restaurant?" Bella Notte replied, watching her carefully. She nodded, looking satisfied. "Sounds perfect. We'll leave it in your capable hands then." As I drove home, I couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. Karen's sudden agreeableness was suspicious. But I pushed the thought aside, focusing on the task at hand. Over the next few days, I threw myself into planning the perfect menu. I called my friend Maria, owner of Bella Notte. "Megan. It's been too long," she answered cheerfully. "Hey Maria, I need a favor. My dad's having a housewarming party, and I'm in charge of food. Think you can help me out?" "For you? Anything. What are you thinking?" We spent an hour crafting the perfect Italian spread. Antipasti platters, handmade pastas, tiramisu for dessert, the works. I spared no expense, wanting to prove I could handle this responsibility. After finalizing the order, I felt a mix of anticipation and nervousness. Despite everything, a small part of me hoped this party might be a turning point. Maybe, just maybe, we could start to heal our fractured family. The next week dragged by slowly. I kept myself busy with work, but my mind often wandered to the upcoming party. I checked and double-checked the order, making sure everything was perfect. The day before the housewarming party, my phone rang. It was Maria from Bella Notte. "Hey Megan, I'm a bit confused. Your stepmother called yesterday and asked to move the food delivery to today. Did the party date change?" My heart sank. "What? No, it's supposed to be tomorrow." Oh, Maria sounded worried. "Well, I wanted to double-check with you before making any changes." I thanked her, my mind racing. After hanging up, I immediately called Karen, my suspicions on high alert. "Hi Karen, just wanted to confirm the party details for tomorrow," I said, keeping my voice neutral. "Oh yes, everything's set for tomorrow at 7 p.m, she replied smoothly. "We're looking forward to it." I thanked her and ended the call, my hands shaking with anger and disbelief. It was clear now Karen had tried to change the delivery date behind my back. She wanted me to miss the party entirely. Taking a deep breath, I called Maria back. "Hey, it's me again. I need to cancel the order," I said, my voice tight. "Cancel? But Megan, are you sure? It's a lot of food and it's all paid for." "I know. Keep the payment, consider it a gift. Use the food for the restaurant if you can." After hanging up, I sat in stunned silence. The betrayal stung, but a part of me wasn't surprised. This was classic Karen, always finding new ways to push me out. The same evening, curiosity got the better of me. I opened my social media and saw my cousin was live streaming from the party. There it was, the housewarming in full swing, happening right now, a day early. I watched, a mix of hurt and anger building inside me, as Karen showed off the new house. She preened for the camera, pointing out design features and accepting compliments from guests. Suddenly a voice off camera asked, "Where's Megan? I thought she'd be here." Karen's face changed, a look of false concern replacing her smile. "Oh, you know Megan, she's always been a bit unsociable. Some mental health issues, poor dear. She said she couldn't make it." I felt like I'd been punched in the gut. Mental health issues? Unsociable? The lies flowed so easily from her lips. Karen quickly changed the subject, steering the conversation back to the house. "Now, who's ready for some amazing Italian food? It should be here any minute." The guests cheered, and Karen beamed at the camera. Half an hour passed, and I could see the guests starting to look restless. Karen's smile became strained as she kept assuring everyone the food would arrive any minute now. I couldn't tear my eyes away from the live stream. Karen's perfectly crafted facade was crumbling before my eyes. Her smile had become a grimace as she dialed the restaurant's number, the speakerphone amplifying every word for the gathered guests. "Hello, Bellanot. This is Karen. Where is our food order?" The response was clear and devastating. "I'm sorry, Mom, but that order was cancelled earlier today by Megan. There won't be any delivery." Karen's face contorted with rage. "What? That little John," she shrieked, turning to my father. "Call Megan right now." Dad, looking flustered, pulled out his phone. I watched, heart pounding, as he dialed my number. When I answered, his voice boomed through the speakerphone. "Megan, how could you cancel the food order? You've ruined everything." Taking a deep breath, I replied calmly, "Dad, why did you change the date of the housewarming? Why wasn't I invited?" The room fell silent. Dad's face paled as he stammered, "We," Karen said. Murmurs rippled through the crowd. Guests exchanged meaningful glances, eyeing Karen and Dad with suspicion. Suddenly Karen snatched the phone from Dad's hand. "You ungrateful brat," she screeched. "After everything we've done for you, you're trying to sabotage us, aren't you?" I let her rant for a moment before speaking, my voice steady and clear. "I think everyone can see now who really has mental health issues in this family. And it's not me." Karen's hysterical shouting filled the room, but I could see the damage was done. Guests were backing away, some already heading for the door. "I'm done being your scapegoat, Karen," I said firmly. "And Dad, I'm done watching you choose her over your own daughter. Goodbye." I ended the call and closed the live stream, my hands shaking but my resolve strong. It was over. The lies, the manipulation, all of it laid bare for everyone to see. In the days that followed, I ignored the barrage of calls and messages from Dad and other family members. I needed time to process, to heal. A week later, Dad showed up at my apartment. He looked haggard, his eyes red-rimmed. "Megan, I'm so sorry," he began. "I've been blind. I let Karen control everything, and I lost sight of what really matters. Please, give me a chance to make things right." I wanted to slam the door in his face, but something in his expression stopped me. "It's not that simple, Dad. You abandoned me. You forgot about me." "I know," he said, his voice breaking. "But I want to change. I promise I'll do better. Please, Meggie." Slowly, cautiously, we began to rebuild our relationship. Dad started calling regularly, and we met for coffee every week. He even brought my little brother along sometimes, away from Karen's watchful eye. As for Karen, I heard through the grapevine that she'd become something of a pariah among the family. Her lies exposed, she retreated into a shell of bitterness. Months passed, and life settled into a new rhythm. I threw myself into my career, climbing the ranks at the advertising agency. My creativity flourished, fueled by the emotional turmoil I'd endured. I don't know what the future holds for my family. The wounds are deep, and healing takes time. But for the first time in years, I feel hopeful. I'm living life on my terms, pursuing my passions and slowly, carefully, allowing love back into my heart. As I look out at the city lights from my apartment window, I can almost hear Mom's voice. "You're stronger than you know," Maggie she used to say. And you know what? She was right.
Hi everyone, I'm Patricia, a Phoenix-based real estate agent and proud owner of my own agency. I built my success from the ground up. For years, I thought I had it all: a beautiful daughter, a seemingly perfect marriage, and a thriving business. But life, as it often does, had other plans. Living in North Scottsdale with my Mercedes in the driveway felt like a dream come true. 6 years ago, at the Phoenix Children's Hospital Charity Gala, I met Philip Thompson. He was dashing in his tuxedo, confidently working the room as a rising financial analyst. "You must be the real estate powerhouse everyone's talking about," he said, handing me a glass of champagne. "Guilty as charged," I replied, laughing, though I prefer to let my sales numbers do the talking. That night sparked a whirlwind romance. Within a year, we were married in a lavish ceremony. When our daughter, Marcia, was born 4 years ago, I thought my happiness was complete. "Patricia, you're glowing," my best friend and office manager, Maria Rodriguez, said at Marcia's first birthday. "You really have it all." "I know, Maria. Sometimes I have to pinch myself," I admitted. Even Robert Hayes, my mentor who taught me everything about real estate, had faith in me. "Kid, you've built something special here. Don't let anyone dim your light." I wish I'd taken his advice to heart. Subtle cracks began to show after Marcia turned 3. Philip started questioning everything. "Another late showing? Can't it wait until tomorrow?" he'd ask, frustration in his voice. "It's a $2 million listing, Philip. The clients are only in town today." "Well, maybe if you spent more time at home, Marcia wouldn't be so clingy at daycare," he shot back. The tension grew. My friend Sonia Chen from Marcia's press school noticed the change. "You seem stressed lately. Is everything okay?" "Just busy with work," I'd lie, ignoring the growing knot in my stomach. Things weren't helped by Philip's sister, Lisa, who was always quick to judge. "My brother deserves a wife who puts family first," she'd say loudly at gatherings. A real mother wouldn't miss her daughter's dance class for a house showing. Philip became more controlling. He'd question every client call and monitor my phone. "Who's Michael? Why is he texting you at 8 p.m.? "He's a client, Philip. We're closing tomorrow." "Sure he is. Real estate must be really exciting these days." Then the day came that changed everything. Philip walked in, tie loose and face pale. "I got laid off. Corporate restructuring," he muttered. I reached out to comfort him, but he pulled away. "Don't touch me. This is probably what you wanted anyway. Now you can be the big shop provider while I sit at home like a loser." Looking back, that was the moment my perfect life began to unravel. Philip spent his days on the couch, laptop open, claiming to be networking. But 3 months in, our savings were nearly gone. "You spent $500 at Morton's Steakhouse last night." "We agreed to cut back," I said, frustrated. "It was a networking dinner. Do you want me to find a job or not? And you're the one always spending money on suits and cars." "That's for work, Philip. I need to look professional." "Oh right, blame me for everything. Maybe if you weren't so obsessed with your career, I wouldn't have lost my job in the first place." Then came the credit card statement, $115,000 in charges at the Talking Stick Casino. "What's wrong?" Maria asked when I stormed into the office. "You look like you've seen a ghost." He opened credit cards in my name, 3 of them. "And look at these charges. Every time he says he's networking, it's a casino." "That's identity theft, Patricia. You need to act." But things only got worse. One Tuesday, I got a call from Marcia, sobbing. "Mommy, everyone's laughing at my clothes. Daddy said you forgot to do laundry." I rushed to her school to find her in a stained, torn dress I'd thrown in the donation pile months ago. Philip had dug it out of the garage. "Mrs. Thompson," the principal began gently, "we understand personal issues happen, but Marcia's well-being." That afternoon, my phone buzzed nonstop. Philip had sent photos to family, school parents, and even my clients. "Poor Marcia," his message read. "Her mother's too busy selling houses to do laundry." Sonia tried to reassure me over coffee. "Don't let him get to you. We all know you're a great mom." But Lisa's poison had spread. At school pickup, the whispers were unmistakable. I heard she leaves Marcia with a nanny every weekend. Apparently, I hadn't cooked a meal in months and my brother was gambling again. Those were the whispers Lisa had been spreading at family gatherings. At one particularly tense dinner, I couldn't hold back anymore. "You want to spread rumors, Lisa? Why not spread the truth for once?" I snapped, my voice low but sharp. "How dare you?" she retorted, feigning indignation. "Philip told me about your spending, your late nights. Who's really to blame here?" The tension hung heavy, but the real blow came the next day when Maria walked into my office, her face grim. "Remember those networking events Philip's always talking about?" she asked. "Well, I had my cousin follow him last night." "And?" I asked, my chest tightening. "He's seeing his old secretary, the one from Johnson Financial." She handed me a folder. Inside were receipts for hotels, jewelry, and expensive dinners. All this while Philip claimed we couldn't afford to buy Marcia a new school uniform. That night, I waited for him to come home. As soon as he walked through the door, I confronted him. "I want a divorce," I said firmly. "What?" His face twisted in disbelief. "I found everything, Philip. The gambling, the affairs, the credit cards." He lunged forward, knocking over a lamp. "You ungrateful. I gave you everything." "No," I said, my voice steady. "I gave you everything, and you destroyed it all." The next morning, I called my lawyer. Signing the divorce papers, I thought of our wedding day, how happy I'd been. But that man, the one I thought I'd married, was gone. Maybe he never existed at all. The monster wearing his face had made sure our daughter went to school in rags just to hurt me. This wasn't just about me anymore. This was war. The divorce proceedings turned uglier than I'd imagined. Philip and Lisa spread lies faster than I could counter them. Every custody exchange was a nightmare. Marcia would cling to me, sobbing, "Mommy, Daddy says you don't want me anymore. He says you love houses more than me." I overheard Philip coaching her during one of his custody days. "Don't answer your mother's calls. She's too busy anyway." One day, Somia called me frantically. "Patricia, I just saw Marcia at school pickup. She was saying disturbing things about you, about locking her in her room when you work. Lisa was there, recording everything on her phone." Maria burst into my office the next morning, waving a stack of papers. "Look at these emails I found. Philip's been contacting your clients, telling them you're having a mental breakdown. Remember the Henderson deal that fell through? He scared them off. But it didn't stop there. He's been forging paperwork," Maria continued, "claiming he invested in the agency when you started it. Thankfully, Robert stepped in. Listen, kid, I've got a friend handling your case personally, but we found something disturbing. Philip's gambling debts. They're tied to some dangerous people." One night, during a heated argument, Philip slipped up. "You think you're so smart? I've been planning this for months. By the time I'm done, you'll be working as my secretary in the agency I'll own." I'd started recording everything after the school incident. His threats, his lies, they were all documented. One evening, he was 2 hours late for a custody drop-off. Marcia wasn't at home. Panicking, I called the neighbor, who told me they'd found my 4-year-old wandering the street alone. "Daddy went to the casino again," Marcia said tearfully to the CPS worker. "He told me to watch TV until he came back." Things escalated further when Amanda, Philip's former secretary, reached out to me. "You need to know the truth," she said. "We weren't just having an affair. He used my computer at Johnson Financial to hide money from the IRS." Marcia's teacher, Mrs. Martinez, requested an urgent meeting. She's having episodes during his custody days, crying, refusing to participate. "Yesterday," she said, "Daddy's friends from the casino scare me." At the next custody exchange, Philip and Lisa showed up clearly drunk. "You think you're winning?" Philip slurred. "I own you. I made you successful. Without me, you're nothing." I slipped my phone into my pocket, its recording app already running. "Keep talking, Philip," I said quietly. "Tell me more about how you made me successful." He ranted about forged documents, tax evasion, and his plans to steal my business. Every word was captured perfectly. The next morning, I called my lawyer. "I want emergency custody. Now." That night, as I held Marcia while she slept, I realized this wasn't just about survival anymore. Philip hadn't just tried to destroy me, he'd put our daughter in danger. The gloves were off. I had everything I needed to end this, and I was going to use all of it. At the final custody hearing, my lawyer laid it all out. Recordings, financial documents, therapy reports. Everything. The judge's face grew darker with each revelation. Full custody is granted to Mrs. Martinez. Mr. Thompson, your visitation rights are suspended pending further investigation. That same week, Philip's past finally caught up with him. The IRS Criminal Division knocked on his apartment door. "Remember those documents you forged at Johnson Financial?" one agent asked, holding a thick folder. Your secretary kept copies. As if that weren't enough, two large men in leather jackets intercepted Philip outside the courthouse. "Casino debt collectors," they growled. Philip tried to run but barely made it to his car before they caught him. "Please, I can explain," he begged, but their patience had long since run out. Then came Johnson Financial's internal audit, revealing years of embezzlement. Philip had been stealing long before he met me. Lisa showed up at my office, desperate and teary-eyed. "You have to help him. We're family." "Family?" I scoffed. "Like when you helped him send Marcia to school in rags." Lisa's troubles weren't far behind. Her own company uncovered a fraud scheme she'd been running. "Learned it from your brother?" I asked as she packed up her office in shame. Philip's girlfriend Amanda finally realized who he truly was when debt collectors came knocking at her door. "He used my credit cards too," she sobbed. "And I believed all his lies about you." The dominoes kept falling. Philip declared bankruptcy before being hit with federal charges. Lisa moved into a cramped studio apartment and took a job folding sweaters at the mall. Meanwhile, my agency thrived. A luxury development group signed exclusively with us, cementing our reputation as a premier real estate firm. "You're an inspiration," Maria said during our celebration dinner. Marcia blossomed in therapy, shedding her fears. "Mommy, I'm not scared anymore," she told me one day, her bright smile lighting up the room. I started a support group for divorced mothers, sharing my story and helping others recognize the warning signs I had missed. Then came Philip's last attempt. He approached me outside my office, looking disheveled in a prison jumpsuit during a work release day. "Jen, I've changed," he said, his voice hollow. "I'm getting help. We could try again." "Goodbye, Philip," I said, walking away without a second glance. 5 years later, Marcia and I stood at the top of the Eiffel Tower. My 9-year-old daughter, once traumatized, now confidently snapped photos with her camera. "Look, Mom, I can see our hotel." My phone buzzed with news of another successful closing by my now multi-state agency. The support group had evolved into a recognized nonprofit, helping hundreds of women rebuild their lives. Meanwhile, Philip cleaned prison toilets for 12 cents an hour, and Lisa still folded sweaters. I hadn't taken their calls in years. "Mom," Marcia said, hugging me as the sun set over the city of lights. "I'm so glad we're free." I held her close, my heart full. "Me too, baby, me too." We had not just survived, we had thrived. My success wasn't about revenge, it was justice, plain and simple. The best revenge was living well, and we were living beautifully. What would you do if your spouse deliberately harmed your child just to ruin your reputation? Would you show mercy if they begged for forgiveness, or would you hold firm like Patricia did? Share your thoughts in the comments below. Hi, I'm Jennifer. I'm 28 years old and the proud owner of Glam and Grace, one of the most successful salons in the Highland District. Building this from scratch after beauty school wasn't easy, but I made it happen. Sweetie, your father and I are just so proud of what you've accomplished here. It's practically a family business now. That's Jessica, my stepmom. She loves to act like she had anything to do with my success. She married my dad, Tom, when I was 16, and ever since, she's tried to run everyone's life like it's her personal reality show. Actually, Jessica, I built this place entirely on my home. No family money involved. "Oh, darling, don't be so sensitive," she replies with a dismissive wave. "I'm just trying to help you network. Maria here is very well connected." Maria, Jessica's best friend, offers me a fake socialite smile while sitting under the dryer during her weekly blowout. "Jessica tells me you're doing so well," Maria says, her voice dripping with condescension. "We must bring the whole country club crowd in here." Sandra, my salon manager and right-hand woman since day one, steps in smoothly. "The appointment book is pretty full these days." "Full for family? That's ridiculous," says Jessica's son, Rick, barging into the conversation. Mom, tell her she's being difficult. Nobody's getting special treatment, Rick, not even family, I say firmly. This isn't how family behaves. Jessica snaps, her voice loud enough for all my clients to hear. After everything your father and I have done for you. What exactly have you done, Jessica? I ask, my voice cold. Besides show up expecting free services and dragging your friends along for the same. Jessica's face flushes. Well, I never. And that's the problem, I cut in. You never consider that this is my business, not your personal salon. I worked hard for this. Jessica stiffens. Your father will hear about this attitude. I was just trying to help you build connections, she huffs. Maria was going to recommend you to her charity committee friends, for free services, of course. It's called marketing, darling. But clearly, you're too inexperienced to understand how things work in our circle. My circle is doing just fine, I reply. Sandra, please make sure everyone knows our friends and family discount policy. 10% off, just like any other loyal customer. Jessica grabs her designer purse, her face a storm cloud. Come on, Maria, we'll go to Claude's salon instead. They know how to treat elite clientele. Have fun paying triple for half the quality, Sandra calls after them as they storm out. Peter, my boyfriend, comes over and wraps an arm around me. You handled that perfectly, he says. Don't let them guilt you into giving away your hard work. Looking around at my bustling salon, I know he's right. I built this place on quality and fairness, not social climbing or freebies. If Jessica and her entourage can't respect that, they can take their entitled attitudes elsewhere. But Jessica isn't done. A few days later, she struts into the salon with 6 of her friends, all decked out in designer outfits and dripping entitlement. Ladies, the Peninsula Charity Ball starts in 4 hours, she announces dramatically. We need the works. Hair, makeup, nails, for everyone. Did you make appointments? I ask, already suspecting the answer. Oh please, Jessica scoffs. We don't need appointments. We're family. The salon is fully booked today, I reply, my voice steady. I have loyal, paying clients scheduled. Well, unschedule them, she snaps. This is the biggest social event of the season, and I've already told everyone my stepdaughter would take care of us. That's not happening, I say firmly. You can't just walk in and demand 7 full services worth over $2,000, especially for free. Jessica's face darkens. $2,000 for family? You ungrateful little. Keep your voice down, I warn. My prices are clearly posted. After a dramatic gasp from Maria, Jessica starts ranting. After everything we've done for you, can you believe this? My own stepdaughter charging me full price for a charity event. Maria chimes in. Honestly, it's shocking how money changes people. Remember when she was just a scholarship student at beauty school? Get out, all of you, now. You're nothing but a greedy little gold digger, just like your mother, Jessica hisses. And that's when Rick storms in, knocking over a product display. Mom says you're disrespecting our family again, he yells, pulling out his phone and snapping photos of clients. Let's see how your business does when everyone knows how you treat people. Sandra steps between us. Sir, you need to leave before I call security. Security? For family? Rick sneers. Later that evening, Peter shows me something on his laptop. Babe, look at this, he says grimly. Jessica's been taking out loans using your salon as collateral. She convinced your dad the money was for expansions. She can't do that, I stammer. Dad would never. She forged documents, Peter says. And there's more. She's been spreading stories about you stealing clients from other salons. My phone buzzes with a text from Sandra. Rick's been harassing clients as they leave. 3 cancellations today. Then I see Maria's social media post. Sad when success reveals someone's true colors. Some people forget their humble beginnings and the family that supported them. #ungrateful #greed. I feel my blood boil. Jessica isn't just after free services anymore. She's trying to destroy everything I've built. This ends now. I tell Peter, pulling out my phone to call my father. It's time he knew exactly what his wife is doing with his money. And my business. Peter nods. Want me to send the loan documents to your lawyer? Yes, I say. And Peter, thank you for always having my back. Always, babe. Nobody messes with my girl's dream and gets away with it. As I dial, I glance out the window and spot Rick loitering outside, still taking photos. This isn't just about entitlement anymore. It's about protecting what I've worked so hard to build from people who think they can destroy it. "We're not going to believe this," Peter says, sliding his laptop toward me. "Jessica's been involved in 3 failed spas before she married your dad. Each time she convinced investors to pour money in, then disappeared when things went south." "Wait, show me the dates," I say, leaning in. He scrolls down. "The last spa shut down just 2 months before she met your father." My stomach churns as I process his words. And Peter says, clicking to another screen, she was facing lawsuits from all 3 businesses. Then, suddenly, she meets a wealthy businessman, your dad, and all her legal troubles vanish. Before I can respond, Sandra bursts into my office, holding her phone. "Boss, you need to see this." The video shows Rick outside my salon at 3:00 a.m., spray painting FRAG across the front windows and slashing the delivery van's tires. "That Lil." I choke on my anger. "It gets worse," Sandra says. "Dozens of clients are showing up for appointments they never made. Someone hacked our booking system." "Let me guess," I say bitterly, "all during our busiest hours." Sandra nods grimly. "The fake confirmations look legit. Jessica's trying to make us look incompetent." Before I can respond, my phone rings. "Miss Thompson," says a stern voice. "This is the city inspector. We've received multiple complaints about health code violations at your salon." "What?" I exclaim. "That's impossible. We just passed inspection last month." "Nevertheless, we'll need to conduct an emergency inspection tomorrow," he replies. I hang up seething. Jessica isn't just sabotaging my business, she's escalating her attacks. Peter interrupts my thoughts. "Babe, check this out." He turns his screen toward me, revealing a video chat with a woman. "My name's Linda," she says. "Jessica was my business partner. She destroyed my life." "What happened?" I ask. "She convinced me to invest my retirement fund into a spa," Linda explains, her voice trembling. "Then she vanished with everything. When I tried to sue, all the paperwork disappeared." Peter pulls up another screen. "And it gets worse. I've been digging through your dad's company records. Look at these transfers." My heart sinks as I scan the document. "Jessica's been moving company money through shell accounts for years," Peter explains. "The total's close to $500,000. And look here, your dad's signature is forged on all of them." I barely have time to process this before my phone buzzes with another message. It's from Maria's daughter. "Hey Jennifer, Mom doesn't know I'm texting you, but you should see what Jessica says about you in their group chat." Screenshots flood my phone. Jessica's messages detail a coordinated attack, fake reviews, bogus complaints, and plans to harass my clients. But that's not all. She's openly bragging about how she's handling my father's money. Peter looks up from his laptop, his jaw set. Jessica's not just a manipulative stepmom. She's a con artist. "She's been playing us all," I murmur, staring at the mountain of evidence. Sandra texts me again. Security footage shows Rick trying to break into the back office. Cops are on their way. Looking at the chaos Jessica and her accomplices have unleashed, fraudulent businesses, embezzlement, forged signatures, and relentless harassment, I finally see the full picture. "She thought she could destroy everything I've built," I say, my voice steady with determination. "But she didn't count on me fighting back." Peter nods. "Your dad needs to see all of this." "He will," I say, steeling myself. "But first, we're talking to those other business owners she scammed. How many have you found?" "7 so far," Peter replies, "and they're all ready to help take her down." Before I can respond, my phone buzzes again. This time, it's a post from Maria's daughter. "OMG, Mom's charity is totally fake. Can't believe Jessica's been pocketing donations for years. Hashtag exposing fraud, hashtag champagne charity scam. Attached are receipts, proof of Jessica's lies." I watch in real time as the post spreads like wildfire. Within hours, the country club crowd is in chaos, and my phone won't stop buzzing. "Did you see? They just arrested Rick." Sandra bursts into my office, breathless. Turns out he had outstanding warrants for assault. They caught him vandalizing the salon. "Karma's finally catching up," Peter says, walking in and holding up his phone. "Check Twitter. Jessica's old business partners are going viral with their stories. 7 different fraud cases, she's toast. The door slams open and my father storms into the salon, his face red with anger. Where is she? Where is Jessica? Dad, I saw the evidence, Jennifer. The embezzlement, the forged signatures, the loans against your salon. How long have you known? We just put it all together. I'm so sorry, Dad. Don't apologize, he says, shaking his head. I'm the one who brought her into our lives. But no more. I've already called my lawyer. I want a divorce. The door chimes, and in walks Maria, looking uncharacteristically nervous. Jennifer, I need to apologize, she says quietly. I had no idea Jessica was stealing from the charity committee. We've all been such fools. My phone lights up with notifications, dozens of 5-star reviews pouring in from real clients defending us against Jessica's fake ones. News outlets are asking for interviews about Jessica's charity scam, Sandra says, grinning. Oh, and your new location permits just got approved. Turns out the city inspector was one of Jessica's friends. Peter adds, she's under investigation now too. 2 weeks later, I'm checking the construction progress at my second salon when Sandra calls. Jessica's here, she says, and she looks rough. I step outside to find Jessica waiting by my car. The designer clothes and perfect makeup are gone, replaced with discount store attire and dark circles under her eyes. Jennifer, please, she says, her voice trembling. Everyone's abandoned me. The country club revoked my membership. Tom froze all the accounts. I have nothing left. That's not my problem, I say, crossing my arms. I was wrong, okay. I admit it. I'll tell everyone the truth. Just help me. We're family. No, Jessica, I reply, my voice cold. We're not. We never were. You tried to destroy everything I built. I can change, she pleads. I'll make it up to you. Walking past her to my car, I hear her sobbing. Please, I'm sorry. I don't even turn around. 6 months later, I'm cutting the ribbon at my second location. Peter, now my fiancé, cheers from the front row. Dad's healing and dating a kind woman who actually earned her success. Look at this, Sandra says, showing me her phone. It's an article about Jessica's bankruptcy filing. She's living in a studio apartment, working as a telemarketer. Rick is serving time for multiple charges. Maria and her daughter approach me beaming. Your new place is gorgeous, Jennifer, Maria says. Would you consider being our official stylist for the Real Charity Gala? Full price, of course. Send your event coordinator over, I say, smiling. We'll work something out. Later that night, Peter holds me close. I'm so proud of you, babe. You didn't just survive, you thrived. Looking around at my expanding business, my real friends, and my stronger-than-ever family, I realize something. Toxic people sometimes do you a favor by showing their true colors. They think they're destroying you, but they're really setting you free. I heard Jessica's living off grocery store box die these days. Karma really is a stylist with a perfect memory for those who deserve a make-under. What would you do if someone close to you, a person you trusted, turned out to be sabotaging your success? Would you expose them immediately or gather evidence quietly like I did? Share your thoughts in the comments below.